Live, so here I am. We got our coffee. We made our coffee because we slept, we stayed at the shipper. There's our coffee. And it's good too. It's Cameron's Highlander Grog. 7:35, it looks like it's 6:35. But you know, here about a couple of weeks it will be. If we get some people in here, give me a thumbs up if you don't mind, or a thumbs down, whatever works. Whatever floats your boat. If it makes you feel good to give me a thumbs down, then by all means, make yourself feel good. Because that's what it is, right? That's what it's all about. Is how can you feel good at the expense of others, right? That is the secret of life. Or not, who knows? So it is raining. I've been in the rain for the last day, and it has been absolutely crazy. I drove through the most amount of rain I think that I've driven in for the longest period of time in a while. So I went from Joplin to Tulsa, Tulsa to Sedalia, and it was torrential downpour the entire time. There was no breaks. And I've discovered a couple of things. I discovered that people in Oklahoma view rain as ice. And there's quite a few truck drivers that don't consider rain at all. And there are a lot of people that don't know what following distance is when it comes to weather conditions. I saw some insane driving last night. It was dumb. It was pretty dumb. And I'm so glad that we have the cameras in these trucks, because you know, if you hire contractors, you want to be able to see what they're doing. Because if they're those kind of tailgaters, then that's nothing but trouble. Because that's how your pileups happen. That's how your accidents happen. But the big pileups that you see, oh, they shouldn't have been driving. Well, you know, sometimes you have no choice. Sometimes, you know, you get caught out because you didn't have a chance to pull over before you saw it, because you don't pay attention to weather. And so the important thing is you keep your speed down and keep your distance from everybody. That way you have time to react. So anyways, let's do some shout outs. Trucker Seals, Jonathan Wheeler, Shannon, good morning. Salem Transit, good morning. John Stroud, good morning. And safe travels. Thank you for being a member. Shannon, also, thank you for being a member. Grafton, thank you for being a member. Big Houston, Grafton, you are awesome. TM, it is 6:37 in some parts of the world. Ha 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 ha. That is true. That is true. You must be out west. Jeremy Rice, good morning. I know I got kind of on the doom and gloom yesterday, but we're going to try not to do that. We're going to try to talk about... I hope you guys saw my pre-trip video. And I'm sure quite a few people that will watch that will go, they will be on their pre-trip while watching that video. When it's really raining hard, that tends to be a popular pre-trip method. Or you go to the fuel island to your pre-trip there. That's also another popular method whenever it's raining really hard, or at all, or it's like 30 degrees below zero. So Anthony Bressler, good morning. There's there's really not a whole lot of going on. I booked my next load. I don't have to be there till 1. Sometimes they'll take you early, so I'm waiting for my 14-hour to be done. I've already delivered, and it will be another fairly simple day. Then I was informed by one of my best friends that I needed to be home so we can sight in my new rifle I just bought this year. So for the Missouri deer hunting season. That way, when I miss, I can't blame the gun. We can only blame the operator. So, which would be me. Oh, you're just thinking that? Yeah, look. So, yesterday I did that morning live feed and I showed the clouds, right? Well, apparently that was the last break because I did my pre-trip, went and delivered my load, and it started to sprinkle. And then as I left towards Tulsa, it was starting to rain. But as soon as I left Tulsa, man, it was torrential downpour the entire 4.5 hour trip. I mean, like, you know, the radar just showed just the swirl. It's like a hurricane almost. It's like, you know, but no wind. I mean, there was a lot of wind. I think I only had I think my fuel mileage on the computer was 5.9 when I got here. I'm like, dang. So the wind was dumb. The low was 45,000. Now we can talk about rain driving tips. Sometimes the rumble strips are good points of traction on, you know, and sorry about the ums. I know that's annoying. The other day I was watching a live feed and there was a lot of hate for Rain-X. And I didn't understand that because the days before I used Rain-X were very difficult, especially in the wintertime. And I need to do a video where I show how I apply my Rain-X because the way I do it is pretty simple. I only put it on the windows. You never put Rain-X on the mirrors. Ever, ever, ever. You don't put it on your headlights either. And the idea is that your wiper blades work less. My wiper blades last a long time because of that. Now I do replace them. Don't get me wrong. In fact, the passenger side needs to be replaced pretty decently. But when everybody else's wiper blades are going 1,000,000 miles an hour, I'm just like swipe. Or, you know, in the wintertime when it's salting out and a truck passes you, one swipe and it's gone. Now in the summertime, it keeps the bugs from sticking as hard. And so once a friend of mine told me about Rain-X, I'm sold on it. And if you apply enough of it, the wind will actually push a lot of the rain off. Now you still have to use your blades, don't get me wrong, but it's very, you can use the intermittent when everybody's going 1,000,000 miles an hour. Now, the positive of that is when you're 45,000 pounds and you got some traction and you go to pass somebody that's scared and doing 40 miles per hour with the four-ways on, you have way better visibility than they do. You have better visibility and you have better grounding. And so a lot of car drivers are like, oh, that driver, he's being an ass, you know, but the reality is I can see, I've got my act together, I'm a trained professional, get out of the way. But I don't tailgate, I don't push people. I definitely don't tailgate. I mean, last night on I-44, everybody decided to hit the brakes all at once. I don't know what it was. I believe it was a car that was doing 40 with the four-ways on, and everybody just wasn't paying attention. You got to look far ahead, right? You got to look far ahead. This is Steve's safety tips today. You have to look far ahead. The Smith system. You have to look half a mile up the road or a mile up the road and say, hey, wow, there's some crap going on up there. I'm going to back it down a little bit because I'm going to let them sort that out. So next thing you know, I'm the guy doing 55, 60 miles an hour because they're all up there getting ready to have a tango. So hit the like button, everyone. Absolutely. Top of the morning, TJ. Thank you very much. Tolga, what's up? Enjoy, folks. Good coffee. John Armstrong, did you make a deal for a trailer yesterday? I hope so. I know that some cash would, I know that Mr. Best is still trying to decide if he wants to buy a 20-year-old truck or not. And that trailer sitting there is a stream of income. So you did make a deal. Good deal, man. Good deal. $350 a week. That's pretty steep, but you'll have a trailer. Now the great thing, if you got the red line one, it'll say red line, and you can put James Best's phone number on the back, and you can do whatever you want, and people will call up either James Best or they'll call up Redline, which is a company that doesn't exist anymore. So that's the beauty of that trailer. I don't know if he told you that. Always practice the Smith system. You should, Shannon. You should. One time when I was working for a company, they had me pick up a trailer off the yard that said extra lease, and it had Rush Trucking on the back. Evidently Rush had turned it in. And so I went into the safety office, and jokingly said, "Man, I love this trailer. I can cut people off and just drive like a wild man, and people will blame Rush Trucking." And they kind of look at me like, really? I mean, sometimes my humor is appreciated, sometimes it's not, but, But, yeah, people, as the population increases, there's more and more people that are getting their licenses that probably shouldn't, in both cars and trucks, and they are driving like I actually got on the CB with this one truck was tailgating a Schneider guy. Like, you know how when you pull up to the fuel island and you pull up to the truck in front of you and you leave just that little bit of space, that just in case they roll back, but you could still like walk through it, but you probably couldn't get a car in between there. That's how close this guy was. And I actually got on the CB radio. Of course, there was no answer. And I asked him, I said, "Are you trying to see the serial numbers to that Schneider trailer?" And of course, no answer, because I'm a smart ass when it comes to the CB radio. I'm not a CB Rambo, and I don't just do annoying things just to annoy people, but I will call you out on a couple things in a funny, sarcastic, but, really, you got to take it serious kind of way, Well, that's kind of how I treat Facebook, I guess. GNC Family Truck, what's up, Spooby? Chucky, how's it going, man? Did you sell that Freightliner yet? So it's James Best live feed was interesting about the Sheep, and it was interesting that all the Coinbases and the Bitmarts and the crypto.coms and all that were locking up at that exact moment. I thought that was interesting. And I get Yahoo Finance News, and they were all over it. CNBC was all over it. It seemed like all at once there was a bunch of news on Shiba Inu, the dog thing. And yeah, and I believe that was what was driving up the price at that moment. So I hope you guys made money, and I hope that you listen to all the trucking YouTubers for your financial advice. Because we know how to spend and make money, right? Truck drivers know how to make money and blow it all at once because you need a new turbo, or you need 2 new turbos, or you need a new turbo, new rear end, or you just want to throw $180,000 on a truck because it gives you freedom, right? Freedom to go into debt. Nothing witty. Good morning. I get all my financial advice from Daniel and Tommy. Spooby. That's silly. That's very silly. Where is Daniel? He went from being first to not being first. And listen to all listen to your politicians for all your medical needs. And make sure that once you have a medical procedure, I don't care if it's a jab or, I don't know, a colonoscopy or a pap smear, make sure that you make that little frame around Facebook so you can announce it to the world of the medical situation that you've put yourself in. Make sure you do all that, okay? So, old fat white guy, what's up? Yeah, James was downright giddy. He was. Look, he doubled his money, man. I'd be giddy too. You know, when you have a crappy day and the shipper just messed with you, and you're out here in a truck looking at your bank account, wondering why. You know, I've been there, still there, kind of. And then you make more money with a thing that has a picture of a dog than you've made that day. That's I'd be giddy too. There's definitely an appeal there. So I hope you did a pre-trip on this, low TM. Look, you know, we have a policy here that you have to show a pre-trip. You can't just go from sleeper to driving. DOT kind of like, you know what? I'm going to look at your logs. Wow, it shows here that you went from sleeper to driving. So I need you to pull over here to the side, sir, and go into this bay, this garage, because, you know, we don't care about the weather when we got the little garage. And I'm going to get in the little pit thing, and I'm going to look at your truck with a microscope, because for some reason you think your truck's so awesome that you can go straight from your sleeper and then sit down in the driver's seat, pushing the brake and go, right? You don't want to do that. Don't give them a reason to make money off of you. And just like any other business, they're dealing with inflation. They're dealing with costs. So guess what? They're dealing with revenue issues. So guess what? You're going to be targeted. If your logs don't put a good story, like if you don't have a nice, pleasant log, they're gonna take a closer look at you. And if you're running legal, then you got nothing to worry about. If you maintain your equipment, now I will say this: if you maintain your equipment, you could say, "Well, I've got nothing to worry about." But you might get that one guy who, you know, his wife beat him up that morning, and so he's dealing with domestic abuse, and so he decided he's going to take it out on you by saying that you have too much grease on your fifth wheel, or this you know, this tire is off a little bit even though it wasn't, you know, that kind of thing. And so there is a slight worry when they're looking at your equipment, because if they want to find something, they will. You can bring in a brand new truck, brand new trailer, it's never pulled a load, and bring it into a shop, or I mean, not a shop, but a DOT weigh station, and they will be like, oh, look at this is wrong, you know. And then, you know, next thing you know, you got a bad mark on a piece of paper, and your insurance company goes, you suck, so we're going to charge you an extra money. And so Don't create revenue for others. Create revenue for yourself. That is my morning coffee thought of the day. Thomas Wilson, you made it. If you don't get your colonoscopy, I'm pretty sure mine won't work. So just remember, my health is your responsibility. Yep. Tim, if you hit the lottery, you can spend that money on truck driving too. Hello, YouTube, and hello, Steve. Dying Breed, what's up, Next Gen? Big Tex Trucking, hello. I haven't seen you in a minute. Scott SRO Logistics, morning man. I am a man of the morning. There we go. We got our coffee. Logging and doing a pre-trip are two completely separate things. Logs tell your history, can't make a story anymore. You can't make it a story anymore. That's true. You got to have, but it tells a story, right? It tells the story. History tells the story. Look at a history book. Those are stories. Chucky's going to argue with me on details. They're dirty trucks. If you keep clean trucks, then you have the I don't care attitude. I'm creating revenue for others, just not the government. No, you're creating revenue for the government. And look, I've got a story for you. You guys want to hear a story? So, anybody who watches Big Rig CO, he's one of my very good friends. He and I worked at Transland together, and we had both were heading the same direction. He had about maybe 3 minutes to spare on his log of the amount of time that we were trying to get to the yard. Now, on I-44, there's a kind old gentleman, DOT officer, he's probably retired by now, who loves to hang around the 135 to the 165 mile marker. He's pulled me over twice. Because there's some open ramps there that he likes to pull you over on. And then I believe there's a truck parking rest area at the 178. Anyways, so he and I were traveling in westbound direction to get to the yard there in Stratford, Missouri. And DOT gets behind me, and I get on the CB. I'm like, hey man, he's behind me, right? And so now I'm pulling one of Transland's older trailers. I have the older truck, and I had hazmat placards on my trailer because we were hauling hazmat. We were both hauling batteries out of Pennsylvania, I believe. I think that's what we were doing. And I believe mine was placard. Maybe his wasn't, but because some batteries you don't have to placard. Anyways, so he gets behind me, hovers around me, moves on. There's a flatbed in front of me. He hovers around him, and he moves on. There's a Mary Glister Lee or whatever truck, which I don't know what's going on with that company, but their trailers and trucks always look horrible. Hovering around him, didn't pull him over. James, who was driving a brand new truck with a brand new trailer, he's the one that gets pulled over. And of course, he's got no time to spare. So the DOT officer was very nice, pulled him in. I went on my merry way. And then, of course, you know, when he was done, he got on the phone and he had just enough time to get to the yard. So he made it. But it was kind of funny because he only did a paper and light check. And was that a level 2? But sometimes they prefer the clean trucks because they know they're not going to get dirty looking at it. They just want the quota to be met. They're not looking to put violations. And so if you always keep a clean truck, it may not reduce your chances for being pulled in, but it definitely increases your chances of having a more pleasant experience. Smoke. What's up, my heavy metal brothers and sisters? Stay dry at today's challenge in Midwest today. Be safe. Smoke, are you in Missouri? Missouri, Illinois, St. Louis. Scott, you're probably getting dumped on in St. Louis. Yeah, it's going to be raining. Definitely. Big Houston, I think I said hi to you. Clean truck can't hurt. Right, that's the thing. Clean truck can't hurt. And sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. You might be behind a truck that's got the duct tape and the 15 different colors on the hood and fender assembly and a bumper missing and zip ties on the mud flaps and that guy gets waved on and then they pull you in. Sometimes it's just numbers on the side of your truck. Sometimes it's that little box that goes beep 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 in the windshield. So it just depends. Illinois, Joliet, yep, wet all day. Driving listening Cincinnati to Wisconsin. I thought you were going to stay south of 40. There, Mr. Britt. Nevada? They don't care. It's all about making that quota. CSA is a joke. That's what, 9-10K, Brian? Did I miss something? I wash my truck once a year if it needs it or not. Oh, Brian, okay. I bought 108 million shares of Shibinu at, I'm not even going to read that number per share. I'm feeling pretty proud of myself right now. Well, it was said that it was supposed to be on Robinhood today, but as of this morning, it was not. So, and I tried Coinbase and it was like, yeah, go screw yourself, Steve. We don't want you to be rich. We don't want you to fall for that get rich scheme. We're protecting you. So, I don't know. I'll just sit there and watch everybody else make money. That's what I do anyways. I can assure you West Virginia is very dry and nice. Yeah, but it's hilly. Going south afterwards. Good deal. No, Britt said yesterday he's staying south after this one more trip. Oh. We'll see, nothing witty is on it. The Manic Britt, I am getting loaded in northern Cincinnati Fairfield. I used to go to Westchester a lot. But I used to make pretty decent coin doing it. But then the brokers undercut each other and they want to cut costs and the shippers like we need to be lower and then the brokers that I had that had them, they lost that contract, and then some broker that's red and yellow on Thunder Funding decided that they were going to take them all, and then I imagine their failure rate is pretty high. Coinbase already knows you are loaded with money, right? I wish. What does Coinbase know? What does Coinbase know that I don't, right? I say right a lot, I'm sorry. What's better, right or Right, I mean, which one? Thomas is in Michigan. Pretty soon, Michigan's going to be a no-go. I mean, I don't go up there anyways, but, for the first year I was in the spot market, I was going up to Michigan all the time because there were some good loads coming out of Springfield that went up there. Michigan and northern Indiana. GNC left Cincinnati about 30 minutes ago. But I'm just sitting here in the rain. I checked the trailer. There's water seeping up from the bottom of the floor, I believe, because it's just a gully washer. So that's kind of dumb. I hate that. But for the most part, the trailer was dry. So no leaks on the roof. From wood. And the next load is a pallet load, so I'm not too worried about it. Made it up about 9K, but it's dropped to 8K. You're trying to stay south of 20 this year? Well, Spooby, the problem with that is that every other Snyder guy wants to stay south of 20 all year. And so now you're fighting bunch of other people for snowbird lanes. Brandon, it's raining in Arkansas. I believe that. You're near Holt, Michigan. I used to go up to Detroit quite a bit. I delivered books to the inner city Detroit school system. That was interesting. And I used to go to Livonia, however you say that, all the time. Your truck is paid off 5 options. There you go. That's how you do it. You know, and Spoopy, congratulations on being a Snyder Finance guy that completed the lease that other people say that you can't. So there you go. And it's a fellow Kenworth brother, fellow T680. So no Freightliners in this crew. Not that I have anything against you Freightliner guys. Just stop leaving your headlights and blinkers on all night. We'll be good. I completed the lease working 3-4 days a week. It's all on how you set it up, right? Just like a good metaphor would be, or a good analogy, I don't know, I'm dumb, so I tend to like think of the wrong things, but a good analogy would be when you go to back into a spot with an 18-wheeler big rig, it's all about your setup. Now you got to be able to improvise if things aren't, you know, going your way. You know, you got to be able to know when to turn, how to turn, and know when to give up, and know that, you know when you got it easy. But also, it's all about the setup. Well, that's it. It's like that in life. Everyday life, it's like that. Mother Nature, it's like that. It's all how you set up. If you set up good, then you can complete high-end leases and not be stressed because you're going to run I-20 all year or all winter, and you know, and never even have to idle the truck. Livonia, Michigan, most segregated city in the USA. I'm trying to think. There was 2 customers we went to. Foot Locker was one. We would pull those out of Junction City, Kansas. And then the other one was O'Reilly's. I think that was Livonia. It's right where 75 and 275 meet. Is where the O'Reilly's was. That was a good run because I didn't have to go into Detroit, and it was usually a multi-stop. So I'd grab. No, it would be batteries up to there, and then I would grab. Oh, I forget what. Oh, we would grab something out of. I can't remember now what we grabbed that went. Oh no, we grab cereal out of the cereal capital of the world. What's that? Come on, Chucky, help me out. What's the cereal capital of the world there in Michigan? Man, getting old sucks. My brain's kind of dumb. Oh snap, I just realized I bought another $500 worth of coins last night because the price got down to my buy price. Ever been to a sundown town, Truman H? Yeah, I'm about to leave the house and run over to Birmingham and then right back to Houston. Battle Creek, yes, Battle Creek. Thank you guys. Battle Creek is there was 2 cereal places there, and those were kind of nice because they were usually dropping hook. And one of those places, I think it was Post, the security guard will actually take a leaf blower and blow out your trailer for you when you know, like when you pull up. thought that was very nice of him. And then we take that to Groveport, Ohio, and then from Groveport we would take a load back to Springfield. So that was the beauty of working at Transland as a company driver, was it was a lot of out and backs, and I patterned a lot of my running based off of the two fleets I drove for over there, the short haul and the long haul game. Their long haul was usually out and back. We go to Salt Lake City, grab a load back to Kansas City back to Springfield. Or we would take a load from Wichita and then went all the way up to, just outside of Allentown, Pennsylvania. And then we picked batteries out of Topton back then, but now I think that plant's in Reading. And take that either to Livonia or Oklahoma City or Springfield, Missouri, to O'Reilly's distribution center. I always liked the Oklahoma City one because then we would pull Coke out of there and deliver it in Springfield, and it was an easy run. You guys and your coins. Look, I tried to buy yesterday, and it just, Coinbase was like giving me the big middle finger. Try again. So, oh well. I might try it later today. Who knows? You know you are a felon when your security position gives you a leaf blower for a weapon. What? Yeah, it's funny, they there's a Walmart grocery store by my house that they had a shooting at. And I think what it was, if I had to speculate, it was a road rage incident because the guy was just getting out of his car and the guy just went up to him, confronted him, and then shot him, and killed him. And so what Walmart decided to do was to hire security. I use that term loosely because they don't have any. They have the parachute cargo pants going on. They have a black shirt that's very nice. That makes them look official. But that's it. There's no mace, there's no taser, there's nothing, right? And the guy that they got running security, well, let's just say he's not the most healthiest older gentleman that I've seen. And I don't know what his purpose there. Now, kudos to him for making easy money. To get paid to just walk around the Walmart and be aware of suspicious characters. That would be, I wonder how much money he makes doing that. But he ain't stopping no robbery. What's he going to do? Call 911 before the store owners do? Or the store workers do? So, it was very interesting. It's a psychological ploy versus, no, and look, security guard wouldn't have been able to help the situation that happened outside. Now, if someone comes into the store and starts to rob it, what's that security guard going to do? Probably nothing, because he doesn't. Now, if he has something on him, he's got it very well concealed, which is probably smart because people get nervous. But I do know the Springfield police hang out at the other Walmart. Like, literally, we'll sit there. So, all right, good news from my side. I'm COVID negative. I just checked the result of the test. I can celebrate this in a local pub to catch the COVID. Well, good on you, Tolga. Good on you. Posts nowadays are strict on trailers. Kellogg's is a lot friendlier. Oh, posts nowadays, yeah. I think it was Kellogg's. I don't know. I also know that if you pick up tires in or was it out in Oklahoma? Not Ardmore, but the other Shawnee. Was it Shawnee? Stillwater? Stillwater, maybe. I don't know. Either way, they'll also blow out your trailer for you. Yeah, Brandon, they'll be the first to get shot. That's right. We use TA Security 2.5s. They aren't quite 5.0. Rent-a-cops. What's good, Snore? Thoughts on Alec Baldwin, the killer? All right, so we can talk about that if you want, since everybody else is. Now, granted, I haven't read any news in the last 2 days, so that there's just warning you now. I don't know hardly anything about the case, but I did watch a video from a lawyer guy that I've got a legal service through, and he talked about that. And when it comes to New Mexico law, the person that pulls the trigger is essentially responsible. And so he went in this whole case study and something that was kind of similar, and my thoughts is that he will be convicted of involuntary manslaughter. And there might be some people that are accessories to that, but the ultimate responsibility lies on him and him alone. Now, Alec Baldwin is an anti-gun nut. So his lack of knowledge, his lack of safe operation is what killed that gal. Had he taken the time to understand the thing that he hated, taken the time to understand and have respect for something that he hated, it may not have happened. And that's a big, that causes accidents all the time. A lack of respect for the equipment, whether it be a truck, firearm, whatever. And it's sad. Now, will he see jail time? I doubt it. I'm sure there'll be some kind of probation or something that he'll agree to do or whatever. And then I imagine the person's in charge of the props on the set and all the ammunition and guns on the set, they will be sued. And the family's gonna make bank, because they're gonna sue Alec Baldwin. They're gonna sue the movie company because the film company, because there was a lot of issues with safety on the set. They are going to sue the person that handed him the gun and said it was cold, and they might even sue the director. So, then that's not knowing any of the details. Apparently they were practicing. And so John Schneider, the guy from Dukes of Hazzard, he did a couple of really good videos. He demonstrated with his fingers how you can make CGI look like a gun. And anybody who's ever seen E.T., you guys remember E.T., there's a reissue that they did where the FBI had a bunch of firearms and they were able to replace them with the computer and make them look like walkie-talkies. And so there should be absolutely no reason why there should be any real ammo on the set at all. And every set is supposed to have a firearms specialist to make sure that everything's groovy. And but ultimately the responsibility lies on him. He can blame shift all he wants. Remember, we live in a blame shift society. Well, it wasn't my fault. It was the person that handed me the gun's fault. It was the person that was in charge of that. It was their fault. It was the director's fault for putting me in that position. No, you did it. You pulled the trigger. It's on you. And just because you're some rich and famous dude. So hopefully there'll be a judge that won't even look at the fact that he's rich and famous. But I guarantee you, though, a fair trial is definitely going to be a lot harder to achieve. And they'll probably use that. So lock the doors and pray for the best to happen if someone tries to rob you. Remember, Brandon Lee died the same way while making the Crow movie. Yes, and that was. Now I don't think it was. Was it a supposedly that was supposed to be a blank round, or was it a projectile that still got him? I didn't. I don't remember reading the details of the Brandon Lee, but yeah, Brandon Lee died making a movie. How do real bullets get into making a movie? See, that's the thing. That's the $1 million question. There should be no reason. You know, John Schneider did a 20-minute video explaining, because he's filmed movies. He's, you know, the Dukes of Hazzard for so many years, and there's a protocol that you have to follow with firearms on the set. There's a good behind the scenes video of Breaking Bad when they did the scene where, well, spoiler alert, where a couple of main characters get toasted, and they kind of went over the firearms. And then there's a video of Will Smith clearing out a firearm when a guy was just like me on the set. It's just being all ridiculous with the muzzle control, and Will Smith actually picked the gun up and cleared it, and you know, it didn't have anything in it, but he checked that it was clear, opened the action, and then handed it back to the guy properly, as if to say, hey dude, quit being a dumbass. You know, just because it's a prop gun. And the word prop gun is ignorant, right? It's absolutely stupid. If it's a real gun, it's a real gun. A prop gun is like, that's like me going, this is my prop phone, you know. I mean, it's a real gun, right? People want everything to be so real looking. No, they don't. I disagree with that, because anybody who knows anything about firearms knows that a lot of these movies are unrealistic, whether they're an action shoot 'em up movie or some space movie, right? And so there's so much CGI. I mean, like, the movie Forrest Gump had a bunch of CGI. You didn't even realize it, right? And so people have this impression of what they think is realistic looking. And so like, for example, a perfect example is, we're truck drivers, right? A majority of you watching this Morning Coffee Thought Live video you're probably driving a truck as we speak. But that movie that Liam Neeson was in on Netflix, what was it called? Ice Road Trucker or whatever. Anybody who drives a truck just saw how fake that movie was. Just saw how bad that was. But a non-truck driver would be like, oh wow, I didn't know you could flip a truck over and then the smokestacks are okay. You know, I mean, you know, I didn't know you could change a W990 magically to a T680 when you get in the truck duel. But you know, but people that know can see those details. And so they just want this impression that it's real. And John Schneider was able to demonstrate that you can create the realism with computer graphics now. There should be no reason why there should be no live ammo on a set at all. And they even have a process to make it look like a bullet's hitting something. They don't like, okay, everybody clear, we're gonna have 3 bullets hit this. No, they have little explosive caps that they put in to make it look like there's a shot. Yeah, I heard that too, Jonathan. And I heard the weapons have been used, target practicing earlier or that day before, don't remember. Yeah, and that was part of the safety issues that the crew walked off about. So why wouldn't they just put in sound effects for the shot that actually have messed around with dummy bullets? The guy that killed Brandon Lee did not get convicted, yet he died a few years ago, I believe. Karma. Yeah, Jim Crow, I wouldn't be surprised. Pam, what's up? They said the crew was shooting the guns that morning at cans with live ammo. But still, okay, so now there should be even more caution If you're given a gun that you know has shot real bullets, you would even be more cautious unless you didn't know anything about guns, which is Alec Baldwin. He's a very anti-gun person. He's probably definitely anti-gun. And here's the hypocrisy of it. Liam Neeson, I used to like him as an actor. But it's hard for me to take any of his movies seriously, especially after that Ice Road Trucker trash. Because he wants the government to take all of the guns away. Okay? Yet, what kind of movies does he do? Shoot 'em up movies. Normalizing. He's normalizing the fact that every American's out here, shooting everything up at will. Remember, there's an episode of The Simpsons where, Homer's gotten into the guns, and like he goes to turn off all the lights in the house and he just shoots the light bulbs out. I mean, and so Liam Neeson has made millions upon millions of dollars normalizing gun use, and then we'll sit there and advocate against it. To me, that's hypocrisy, and Alec Baldwin was doing the same. If Mr. Baldwin had been trained in the proper handling and operation of a firearm, he wouldn't have insisted on loading his own prop gun. That is absolutely true. Have you seen Dune? There were some amazing ships in that look seriously real. Pretty sure CGI can handle a gunshot. Yeah, Dune is awesome, guys. If you haven't seen the new Dune, I highly recommend it. And Sting is not in it. I will let you down and let you know, spoiler alert, that Sting is not in the new Dune. So there's that. He was also the producer of the flick. He's responsible. He's got to do time. Right. There's no excuse. Because he can sit there and blame the prop master all he wants. Or the expert all he wants. But he's the producer, so he's that guy's boss. Right? So he wasn't just some dumb actor that was handed something. He is the producer. And so he bears full responsibility. Now, again, he can blame shift and maybe they can be involved in the suit. But at the end of the day, and look, here's the deal. Let's say he gets off easy, right? He has to live with the fact that he took out a life over ignorance. He has to live with that for the rest of his life. And some of the pictures I've seen, it's definitely going to tear him up. So either way, he's going to suffer for the rest of his life. And it didn't have to happen. And that's sad. Rainy weather also here in Finland, Europe. 16 to 25 per mile permit. Keep on good video, safety trucking. Thank you, Samuel. I appreciate it. No, Batista plays Sting's character, another anti-gun nut. Look, Hollywood's full of the anti-gun nuts, but but I will say there's no guns in Dune. They don't believe in guns in that world, but which that's from the book. That's not Hollywood's doing. That's from the book, but to me that's kind of that's hypocrisy. And Hollywood is, if you're rich and famous, Hollywood, politicians, they're all hypocrites. And so, people only believe what they want to believe if it fits their agenda. What's my agenda today? Well, my agenda today is this. But yesterday it was completely this. And yeah, I mean, people change minds and have different perspectives shifted to them, but But to sit there and you know what? I hate guns, but I'll be glad to shoot them on camera if it makes me millions of dollars, you know. So they're co-defendants in the homicide, yes. One died, one was wounded. Yeah, the director was wounded. They use words as a weapon in Dune, literally sound, right. All these A-listers own guns. They're all full of it. I do believe a lot of them are closet conservative. I don't know about that, Jacoby, but I will say this. They may hate guns, but I guarantee you that their security guards have guns. They may hate guns, but I guarantee you that their ensemble that they travel with to protect them have guns. And so it goes to the whole, well, only the people that need guns should have them. That's called tyranny, I believe. Look, China found out the hard way of what happens when you take weapons from citizens back in, before World War II. Japan invaded China and said, you know what, this is easy pickings, and killed like 10 million people over there. And because they didn't have ways to defend themselves. Because China had to be like, we don't want you to own guns, you know? No guns in Dunes because lasers and shielding technology takes out everyone, even the shooter. Ballistics weapons just don't work against the shields. Nothing what he sounds like. They're very knowledgeable about Dune. Yep, Australians learn that lesson now. It's easy to hate something you don't understand. That's the gist of it. Like, for example, I came across an Instagram account. It's called Influencers Out in the Wild. And what it is, it's various clips of people making TikToks and Instagram reels from a distance. So you see like people just in the middle of Park Central Square doing like some weird dance. There's no music. And, it's all for the TikToks. And when you watch that from a distance, you sit there and you go, man, I don't understand that. I don't understand the appeal. It's like, to me, it's like demonic possession. I mean, you're doing something that you wouldn't have been doing 30 years ago. And it's so I make fun of it because I don't understand it. So it's easy to make fun of things that you don't understand. People don't understand why a guy would have a long beard like this, so they make fun of me for it. So celebs can afford security. They're full of, yep. I've read the book a few times, right? DIY Semi, welcome to Headbanger status. Thank you very much. I'm gonna have to come up with something for members as far as like something physical. If I can ever get somebody to make me a new logo, maybe I can get some stickers out, some t-shirts out and stuff like that. But I appreciate that, DIY Semi. Thank you very much. But other than that, it's going to be hopefully a decent day. The place where I'm picking up tends to be a little bit tight, so you gotta strategize it just right, and then you gotta watch your trailer like a hawk to make sure that no one else wants to put stripes on the side or on the corners. In this day and age, you don't want to lose your trailer because, man, it sucks. What about the IG girl who is trending right now because she posed for pics with her dad's corpse at his funeral and posted them? that hurts my heart. That hurts my head, man. you remember back when we were kids, and Spoopy, you're about the same age as me. You would watch these TV shows about cults, right? How they would be kind of like blind, like, you know. And look what that Jones guy did with the Kool-Aid back in the 60s, right? Look at the look at the amount of just like it's almost like you're being hypnotized. And when you have so many people being almost maniacal about certain things like selfies and TikToks and Instagrams, we got to take a selfie for everything, including your father's funeral. There's something deeper going on. And it's either demonic or at the very least mental illness. But it's not just a case here or a case there. It is literally worldwide. The maniacal reaction to life is just absolutely stunning. It blows my mind where we're at mentally as people. The level of narcissism also coincides with the high levels of anxiety that we have now, the high levels of depression that we have now. We're all striving to be something that we're not. We're all striving to be something except what we need to be. And I get that some influencers make money. I get that. I mean, I make money doing this YouTube, and I appreciate my members. I appreciate the super chats. And I try to offer something in return. If anything, I'm myself. I'm not doing this for fame and notoriety. I'm just here, right? And maybe that's why, maybe I just don't understand. But when I see people acting maniacal about one thing, that doesn't sit well with me. Mass psychosis, yes. It's like the SHIB coin thing. Look, I'm all about making money. I really am. I've got a little bit of Dogecoin, I've got a little bit of Bitcoin, I've got a little bit of Ethereum. I've got some stocks that I've day traded with. I've got some guidance for that. I have some resources for that. But when I see 100 people all doing the same thing, and they're being maniacal about it, that's why it took me forever to get into Dogecoin, because there's got to be a catch. There's got to be a catch. You know, I would talk to people that have made money with that, and I'm like, well, how do you know? How do you know when something's going to hit? And I realized that part of the deal is that you put it in the news, you put it out there so everybody else becomes maniacal about it, and that's what drives the price up. And so when you have this mass amount of people doing the same thing, there's a reason. And, you know, and sometimes it works. I mean, I tried to buy SHIB yesterday. I was going to throw, $100 at it. But only because of friends that told me that they did it and they were making a little bit of money. Not because of all the hype, and and all the news. You know, it's not just the YouTubers. Everybody's talking about it. To me, that's by design. Think of a bad top 40 song. Think of a bad hip hop or whatever song that, or a bad country, or I'm sorry, country song, because they don't play real country anymore. That's on the radio. That gets in your head. You know it's a horrible song, but why is it so popular? Why is it ingrained in your head? Like that Achy Breaky Heart song. That makes me almost, I won't say it, but anyways, there's no way that's a good song. It just isn't. It sticks in your head, and there's so much hype. There's so, and now, if that song came out now, oh my gosh. You'd have everybody doing stupid challenges like that Stevie Nicks song with the freaking orange juice on his skateboard. Who the hell comes up with that? Or that song where you dancing next to the car while the car's driving, People are getting hit by cars because they're being dumbasses. And you have to wonder, what is the driving force behind that? Are you being brainwashed? Are you being conditioned to think like 100 other million people are? Is that on purpose? It's daddy issues. I'm back. Had to Google the girl having her picture taken at her father's funeral. I didn't believe it. Asian Mai and Bonehead Trucker quit trucking. They're doing good. YouTube, and I'm jealous. Look, and I think that's the goal with a lot of people that are what they call influencers now. I hate that term, but and that term is a conditioning in and of itself. I'm not just a moron in a truck on YouTube. I'm an influencer. I influence you because social media is supposed to influence society. And if social media influences society, we are screwed. So I go from just being a moron truck driver sitting in an empty parking lot talking to his phone to being an influencer that can influence you to do whatever I need you to do, and hopefully I can get rich making you do that. Don't believe the hype, right? And look, Asian Mai, he shares the love, right? He tries to help other YouTubers get attention to their channels. He wants to help everybody out. He wants to make the trucking space better. Bonehead is doing something that I've been watching for years as far as like the dash cam videos. And people are curious about that. They want to see the wrecks. They want to see the stupidity. They want to see the ignorance because it makes you feel better about yourself when you see someone else make mistakes. And he's capitalizing on that, and I don't blame him for that. And if he can ride this wave for a few years and stay out of the truck and get healthy, then more power to him. As long as he's happy. That's all that matters, man. That's all that matters. Isn't there a saying that for investing, buy the hype, sell the news, something like that, right? Number one song. Is there a song? Mindless automatons like lemmings over a cliff. Absolutely. Today is going not too fun. Can't load until tomorrow. Gotta love it when places do inventory. Tom T. Hall now. That's good country music. It's all a pump and dump anymore. No real value. And DIY, I agree with you. It's knowing when to get out, right? Greed and ego makes you get out too late. Oh man, this hit. How many people? I know people that cashed out on Dogecoin. They thought too early, but they got out just before it fell hard. Meanwhile, I'm the dumbass that like bought in after the last dump, because you guys think I'm down on myself, but there are a lot of things that I'm not too bright on. It took me years just to wrap my head around what cryptocurrency was or is. And it took a billionaire on a really good channel that's incredibly intelligent to explain it to me. That made me go, oh, now I get it. But that still doesn't explain the other currencies as much as, the Bitcoin. So, and look, Bitcoin I made $20 on, so there's that. Everybody wants a viral video as many as they can get. Look, and that's not always the answer. I mean, I know a YouTuber that got a viral video. His video went bonkers. He got all these subs. Tremendous amount of subs. But when he would go live, he had like 8 or 9 people. He'd have like maybe 30, 40 people respond to his videos, his regular videos. And so sometimes, I mean, how many times have you watched a video on YouTube, but you didn't subscribe to that person? You viewed it only once. And so is that guy making ad revenue? I don't know. Big Houston, sounds like you're gonna have a bunch of free time today. You should make a video. Another one of the Big Houston's another one of them ex-YouTubers. Still know what crypto really is. There's a video from a channel called From What I've Learned, or what I've learned, and he does a lot of diet stuff, but he also talks about crypto. And it's a form of currency that is, with the lack of a better term, that is universal. And it's a series of numbers that are just as identifiable as a thumbprint or a dollar bill, right? So it's digital property. So like if you have $1,000, you can do one of two things. You can put 1,000 cash dollars into the bank, and it'll either grow or shrink depending on what you invest in, and the value of the dollar goes down. Or you can buy $1,000 worth of silver, put that in a safe, or bury it in your backyard, whatever, and you have a physical currency. Silver can be used as currency. So a lot of preppers, they think that the cash system is going to be completely obliterated, so silver and gold and precious metals is the way that because that's what we used to be on, was a gold standard. Bitcoin is a digital currency that is accepted in other countries. And so the way the billionaire guy explained it, so let's say you can either own a hotel with 100 rooms, or you can own a virtual hotel and have 100 rooms wherever you want. And that's kind of what crypto is. And so when you take $1,000 and you buy a cryptocurrency, you're basically doing a currency exchange. And so when you see that credit card companies are accepting Bitcoin, you can Cash App me Bitcoin if you want through the Cash App. You can buy a Tesla with Bitcoin. You can, there are other countries that are giving Bitcoin, and so if you look at our society now, we essentially are under digital currency. You go to the convenience store, you pay. Most people are paying with credit or debit cards. And so there are people that will buy other countries' currencies and transfer them to American dollars, and that's supposed to make you money. I don't know the exact process, but that's essentially what cryptocurrency is you're doing the same thing. So A lot of people have cashed in their crypto coins and used that money for retirement. But at the end of the day, it's digital property that you own. Kind of like if you own a website. If you own the website and you own the server, nobody can ever take that away from you. You know. Cash is king. What's up? I prefer the smaller but quality channels like yourself, DIY, Cash is King. DIY and Cash is King definitely have great channels. Everybody go check them out. They are members. They are headbangers now. I appreciate that, guys. You are awesome. And I kind of wonder what guys that are really good at their videos see in me. So I try to keep that in my head whenever I do my videos. I had several Bitcoins back when they first started and were worth 50 cents. Probably still do, just don't remember where I had that virtual wallet I had 10 years ago. Spooby, if you have it, if you can find it, you might be rich and you don't even know it. Because a lot of the people that have made money on Bitcoin were people that invested in it early, $100. And that's the appeal of the SHIB and the Dogecoin, is you get in early, because Bitcoin isn't the only game in town. But Bitcoin is the most accepted at this point. You know, you don't see anybody like, oh, you can buy a car with Dogecoin. You don't see any of that going on yet. Some athletes are being paid in crypto nowadays. G-Star, good morning. Greetings from Lebanon, Missouri on 54, an hour and a half away from Springfield. I'm in Sedalia, and then I'm going to hit Kansas City, and then I'll be in Springfield tonight. So I'm chilling at the house. Truck is in the shop. Oil leak at crankcase, breather, and def tank here. Ugh. That sounds expensive. Man, my truck worked yesterday. And I like the fact that you guys pair up too. You guys do the dual live feeds. You know, like Pale Rider and I do live feeds a lot. I haven't seen Pale Rider, man. He texted me this TikTok of that famous, there's a famous radio announcer, movie trailer narrator guy. And he had doing a thing with Steve. So that's now my voicemail thing. So if you call me, you're going to get that new voicemail. Lebanon, you at that mom and pop? Yeah. G-Star, are you at that Jones Travel Center? Because last time I was in there, I had to get fuel, and it was sketchy, and they were still building the place. Is it done now? Is it nice? I haven't been in there in a minute. I know it's one of those truck stops that's kind of off to the side, and you know, I mean, there's parking in there usually. A lot of locals park their trucks for the weekend there. So sometimes it could be a bear to find parking, but I think that new setup was supposed to open up more parking. I don't know. But all right, guys, we have been at this for an hour and 18 minutes. We can go to an hour and a half if you got anything else you want to talk about. Yep, you got where I'm at. Okay, so they finished it then. Is it nice inside? Is it cool? Because that place, that if there's a truck stop needed remodeling, it was that one. The restaurant at one time, almost the same restaurant. They weren't too bad. This is a time of morning where I get a little bit hungry, and it's a little bit challenging because I'm fasting. Because Snorelord sends everyone the voicemail. Shots fired. I do. I get phone calls in waves, right? I'll literally be sitting at a customer for like 3 hours. Then I decide, well, I'm going to do some paperwork, and you know, and then all at once, I'll have 5 people call me like within 5 minutes as I'm trying to get something done. It's okay, mom and pop. You know, and I look, if anybody's ever tried to call me, I apologize. And DIY, weren't you wanting to chat with me sometime? I don't know if you ever emailed me your number. I need to come by your house and you can show me how to change out my fuel filter. I can do little things like change out lights. I did replace my washer fluid tank pump thingamajigger. I replaced that myself. Had a friend of mine help me with that as far as like he did a video actually of it. Let's see, what else have I done on my own? I've changed mud flaps, changed airlines. Changed. You would think that changing lights wouldn't be a big deal, but I know people that won't even change their own light bulbs. And I get it if it's hard to reach or whatever, but had a load of reefer go down this morning, bag compressor. Ugh. Yeah, I haven't got to it yet. Nothing but problems last couple days. DIY, I'm sorry to hear that. I think that would be nerve-wracking for me. I've never ran reefer. I mean, I used to hear the horror stories. My dad used to tell me about it, but you know, Big Rig CEO seems to be doing pretty well with the reefer trailer. But man, I think dry van prices are high right now. Reefer trailers are through the roof. And then you're maintaining another engine. I think one of the advantages of being a known operator is if you have mechanical abilities, it's definitely can save you money, especially if you're driving an older truck like I am. Where are you going today? I'm going from Kansas City to Springfield, and then seeing what floats around tomorrow. It's a straight through delivery today. Depending on what floats around tomorrow, I might do another one and then probably just head to the house because I gotta sight in the rifle, get some training on that for hunting season coming up. So we're gonna take care of that Sunday. And then Saturday, I don't know if there was something planned Saturday or not. Oh. A lot of people make fun of me for doing the short game, but that's fine. You don't hurt my feelings. There's definitely some advantages and definitely some disadvantages, but I enjoy it. So sometimes. Although my truck is stocked, like I'm going to be out in a month, I need to eliminate a lot of that up there. I want to get an electric bike, just a thought. For the truck, TM, you're better off getting an electric scooter. Due to space constraints. That's what I would do. I've thought about doing that myself, but I don't know, I enjoy the walks, but electric bike, man, that's, you know, they have a regular bike on the truck. You either got to strap it outside, excuse me, and it gets all the elements on it, or you got to take it half apart and bring it into the truck. I would rather just have the electric scooter. Do the short runs pay the same as the long runs? In a normal market, S&W, it just depends. Profit margins can be a little bit higher, but I do know that I've looked at long runs and it averages about $1,000 to $900 a day gross, and I can definitely make that at times running a third of the miles. So if you look at rates from a daily rate, I'm probably $100 or $200 less a day than a lot of guys that are running long in the spot market now because the rates are so good. But for the most part, my profit margin's higher because I'm spending less in fuel. My tires last longer. Everything lasts longer when you're doing long haul brakes, or I mean short haul. I'm sorry, and it's less stressful as far as like I'm not trying to, pull a 650-mile day. I'm always within. Well, I'm usually within 500 miles of the house, anyways. But it's definitely easier for me because that's how I've ran for so long. Now, if I had a steady gig, like I looked at a steady gig that was going from Springfield to Phoenix, but I just couldn't find something that was a steady gig back to Springfield, or else I'd be doing that. I'm a guy that likes repetition, but I do know when I do the math, I'm not much lower, if at all, than guys that are running long. So they got those folding bikes, but they're still taking up a lot of space. And yeah, and I don't know if they're electric either. And those are weight rated too. So if you're a heavier set person, those foldable bikes, I think, can only do up to 250, 300 pounds. Why I can't find where to get a PM service nowadays. Every Speeco is either short on filters or Rotella oil. It's overdue. G-Star, you're going to have to bite the bullet, and I'm assuming that you have a Freightliner with the DD. That might be your best bet. I don't know. They got the... Okay, I already read that. Just for my hometown. Oh, just for your hometown? Then, I don't know. I don't know much about them, but, man, if it's just for your hometown, man, I think it'd be fun. Steve, I drove 1795 miles last week for $6,400. Love my shorties. And Thomas Wilson's in a situation where he does a lot of drop and hook. And look, when you compare Landstar to Schneider, they're both choose your own freight, both the same percentage. You make better money at Schneider if you run the short game, and you make better money at Landstar if you run the long game. And the thing about the short game is you really got to know your area. You got to know how to strategize, and you got to take some risks on booking some loads ahead. You can't just book from the dock and hope for the best. The advantage of long haul is you're on the low boards less, you're calling brokers less, and you're only bumping a dock 2 or 3 times a week, whereas I'm bumping a dock sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. Or at Schneider, I had a day where I literally dropped and hooked 6 trailers. But it made me money. Schneider was about 80% drop and hook. And there's a positive aspect. The negative aspect is Schneider's trailer pool is getting worse and worse on maintenance. And I'm hearing that from several of their contractors, and it's getting to the point where I know people that are going to leave because of that. Sage is in the house. I'm not a trucker. I just like to keep informed on it. TM, well, cool. Welcome. But look, short haul is not for everybody, and you got to mix it up. So what I do is I do short to medium runs. Whenever my short haul stuff kind of dries up that I normally like to do, I'll pick a load that goes from here to Ohio back to Oklahoma back to Springfield. A lot of times I've utilized the Dallas market. A lot of people are like, well, that's weird because the rates are low down there. Well, no, if you grab something from the Midwest to Dallas, you get a better rate. And then you can take the small hit if you go into Oklahoma from Dallas, and then from Oklahoma it's easy to get to Missouri. So it's all knowing your area and strategizing, looking ahead, and working with the same brokers to know what to expect. Human trafficking, I'm sure it does if you're into that thing. No, Thomas Wilson is not Schneider. He works for another company that's got contract dropping hook trailers. So, but Thomas Wilson's a perfect example of how short haul can work. Thanks, man. I might check Springfield Freightliner today. Yeah, I would check them. Now, there's 2 dealerships now in Springfield. So you've got Freightliner in Springfield, but then you've got Jenks Diesel, which is over there by the Flying J, and they sell Western Star. They're a Western Star dealer. Western Star has the Detroit. They might have the filter you need. So I would actually give them a call as well. And then Sage, I believe, put up a video or a link to a chick over at Freightliner that has been able to expedite some parts. So yeah, Semper Tyrannis, I believe that. Anyways, we're at an hour and a half. So, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate the members. I appreciate everything that you guys do for me, and I hope I do something for you. I laughed at your preacher video. I see so many drivers do that every day. Join me. Yeah, it was inspired by real events of people that I've seen. So, and that's the thing. Look, when it's 30 below zero or it's raining cats and dogs, you still gotta walk around the truck at least. You still gotta show a pre-trip. You never know when someone's pulled your pin or opened your doors, or you know, you have a flat tire because you ran over a nail when you were backing into a spot. You know, you just don't know, right? You just don't know. So everybody be safe, be profitable, keep the money in your pocket, don't give it to anybody else that don't deserve it. So with that being said, thanks for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Drink your coffee. It's good for you. Peace.